The last song was Metallica, Hit the Lights.
Well, Metallica first started out as just Lars and James.
Wow!
And they were basically just rehearsing in a garage someplace. And the first track that they ever recorded was on the Metal Massacre album. It's called Hit the Lights.
Hit the lights tonight! Hit the lights! Hit the lights tonight!
And really, Metal Massacre was the first time a lot of people in America, and even a lot of people who would join other thrash bands, heard Metallica, and by extension, thrash music in general.
At that time when we started doing what we're doing in '83, '84, there certainly weren't a lot of bands in America that were doing the type of stuff that we were doing.
The energy was there. The talent really wasn't, you know, for all the bands involved. You know, like Slayer was doing like some, you know, they were a crazy cover band called Dragon Slayer. And, you know, Dark Angel was really bad at the time too, you know, so, and then all of a sudden something just got cohesive, you know, like Metallica got good. Everybody said, well, look, we got to step our, you know, our act up.
We were all looking for the most extreme stuff, and back in the day, the most popular stuff was stuff like Merciful Fate, Venom, you know, Motorhead. And then this band came into town called Metallica. That was the sound that everyone was looking for, but no one could, you know, actually execute until Metallica came along. It kind of showed everyone how to do it.
Well, the classic early Metallica lineup that a lot of people think of is, of course, Lars, James, Cliff Burton, and Dave Mustaine, who went on to form Megadeth.
The Metallica was like the rulers of the scene back then, not only because they were making great music, but mostly because when they came to the, like, you know, the scene was totally altered by their comings and goings of people in the band and what they were doing or not.
They kind of affected every band that they touched. They moved up to San Francisco, got a record deal, swapped Kirk Hammett out from the huge local favorite band Exodus, sent Dave Mustaine spinning back to Los Angeles, where he formed Megadeth and vowed his revenge on Metallica. And while recording their album in New York City, blew the minds of Anthrax.
Yeah, Metallica inspired Anthrax. We were like, holy shit, we saw those guys rehearse in the music building in Jamaica, and it was very intense.
You know, there are pockets of bands in LA and pockets of bands in New York that played heavy metal, you know, but it was Metallica that brought it up to the next level.
Here was this scene that was, if you listen to the rock and roll drum beats, were pretty tame, and then all of a sudden you hear this, and you're like, whoa, what is this new sound I must take in? And they were the first ones to do it.
Metallica was all about the brilliance of that crunchy fucking guitar before anyone else had it. They had it.
Thrash was an evolution. It wasn't created. I think Metallica, especially with Kill 'Em All, turned everyone's head.
The impact of Kill 'Em All, the very first album, just blew everybody away. It was just so far ahead of its time. It was the ultimate thrash album.
After Kill 'Em All came out, all the bands, the independent bands that got signed afterwards were just totally fast, you know? Just totally aggressive, just totally just like going for it, you know, and trying to be as thrashy as possible.
Metallica helped define thrash metal. I mean, they were one of the first bands to blow up big with it, even when we didn't know how big they were going to get, you know, but with every record, they were just redefining their sound and redefining what was going to be the new trend in thrash metal.
They had all this amazing stuff going on, and it would be almost impossible to think what could stop that momentum. It would have to take something truly catastrophic.
In September of '86, Metallica probably received the biggest blow, probably still to this day in their career, I'm sure they would say that, with the death of their original bassist, Cliff Burton.
I was just about to go on KUSF, and I got a call, and it was KJ Doughton, their fan club guy, and he had just told me that Cliff Burton had died. They had a big accident in Sweden. And I went on the air, and I couldn't talk for a couple hours, and a lot of people had learned about it, and it impacted more people than any other event I can ever remember, because most people our age had never dealt with death, had never known anybody who died.
When you talk about Cliff Burton, this was a guy that had his feet firmly planted on the ground, and it didn't matter if his popularity and success was, you know, to the moon. This guy was still going to be the same guy he was when, you know, I first met him in high school. And I think that's what he brought to Metallica, and it's sad that he's gone, because those kind of people are very far and few apart.
What he meant to Metallica was, it's even hard to put in words. I mean, what he meant to the whole metal movement in general, there's no one like him. I mean, from the way he attacked the bass, what he played, and how he played, and his presence on stage was just mind-blowing.
In a lot of heavy metal circles, Metallica is still really great, but I think they were pretty much at their greatest when they had Cliff Burton in the band. And myself, I miss the guy a lot. He was definitely a legend and a presence that will never be forgotten. Long live Cliff.
You saw them kind of gradually move away from thrash. And a lot of people feel that if Cliff had lived, that might not have been the case, and that he might have kept the band more pure to what they started out doing. But I don't know if that's so true. I mean, Metallica ended up becoming, overall, the biggest metal band really ever, one of them at least.
I think Metallica is the Black Sabbath of our generation, the Led Zeppelin of our generation. And I think, I mean, Metallica, obviously, first 4 records, classic. First 5 records, classic.
They're the forefathers. We wouldn't be doing this without Metallica, without having heard Metallica. So they have, you know, forever everyone's respect in metal for breaking through and doing what they did and helping totally define the genre.